For the report. Away from that, the International Commission of Jurists ICJ Kenyan section has continued to pile pressure on the government to fully abolish the death penalty from the constitution, terming it as inhuman. Now, the organization further wants the introduction of alternative punishment methods that do not breach the right to life of individuals in death row. Now, this comes even as statistics from the Kenya Prison Service indicate that 101 Kenyans are in death row to date. As Kenya joined other countries to mark World Day Against the Death Penalty, ICJ Kenya hosted a conference that brought together different partners who championed for the abolishment of death penalty from the Constitution.
Mine is more towards.
Addressing the press during the meeting, Honorable Justice John Mativo noted that Kenya has made significant strides in stopping death penalty, a move he says is slowly pushing the country to fully erase the death penalty from its book of law.
We have a category of offenders who are now being told we cannot help you, you have to go suffer death because the law stands as it is. Otherwise, we are looking forward to more development of the law, to a situation whereby we eliminate the death penalty from our law books, because that's the only way to go about it. So long as it exists, our courts are bound to follow what the law says. And that becomes a bit difficult when you are sentencing. You have no discretion to impose an appropriate sentence depending on the nature of the offense, the circumstances in which it was committed, and so on.
While lauding Kenya for having not executed any prisoner for over 30 years, ICJ Kenya Deputy Executive Director Demas Kiprono castigated death penalty, noting that there are alternative punishment methods that equal justice other than execution.
Death penalty does not offer safety to anyone. It is not a deterrent to crime. And so that we move towards where the world is going, where we seek to rehabilitate persons who have been found to have done crime. We seek to, as a society, not punish with a view of revenge, but punish with a view of seeking justice.
Julie Wayua, the program manager at ICJ Kenya, reiterated the need to critically evaluate the impact of death penalty to the society and provide progressive alternatives that would safeguard the rights of those on death row.
As Kenya is currently being reviewed next year in the UPR, we hope that we can push the government of Kenya to ratify the second optional protocol on the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, because that actually talks about the abolition of the death penalty, and that is important. Kenya has now taken a seat at the Human Rights Council, and we hope that we can then progress and push for laws that are actually in tandem with the human rights treaties and ensure that Kenya takes its place as forthcoming countries and countries that are pushing for human rights laws to be really to the gold standard.
France has reassured its partners of their support to bring to an end the death penalty by onboarding decision makers to accelerate their efforts.
We believe that, as you said, the abolitionist movement is gaining traction and is gaining ground. We do want to work with civil society organizations and voices, including on the African continent and in Kenya in particular. And we feel that we have a partnership here in Kenya. We hear a lot of loud voices calling for the abolition of death penalty.
As the ongoing campaign to have Kenya abolish the death penalty in totality continue gaining momentum, it is a wait and see whether the legislators will heed to calls from the legal actors and fast-track the Penalty Code Amendment Bill presented before the House by former Minority Leader and Ogunja Member of Parliament Opio Wandai.
Abolish the death penalty now!
For Newswatch, I'm Sam.